Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Jack, Conrad. Footy Five, Merseyside Derby edition. June 21st, Goodison Park, 2 p.m. Eastern Time here in the United States. The first big derby of Project Restart. You had obviously Spurs and United early on, but this is the first real intercity or
Local derby, yeah.
local. And these two teams have a long history. Liverpool have dominated over the last 10 years or so, unbeaten in 21 consecutive matches.
It's been more of a rivalry of history than a rivalry of current competition. And I think that Everton will be eager to try and maybe set a new precedent going forward into this season. Obviously, they are not having as good a season anywhere close to as Liverpool, but both sides are coming in trying to get out of the gates quickly, and Everton may look at this as a chance to maybe get one past their rivals. When, if you imagined having to do this when it was originally scheduled in March, they were coming off of matches against Chelsea, against Manchester United, against Arsenal. So that would have been tough 3 matches, and then a 4th against Liverpool to try and move forward from that.
But Liverpool were wobbling at the time. They
were.
had come off a bad loss to Watford and
They
then
just
lost in the Champions League.
Lost
in the game
in
they
FA
shouldn't
Cup
have
as
played.
well. Yeah. It was both sides, I think, will be a bit happy to have gotten the break when they got it. I think Liverpool were stumbling a little bit. I don't think it would have severely altered their Premier League hopes.
2 games left. They weren't going to bottle.
Yeah, but this is going to be an interesting match to see how they can try and rebound. Because Everton, mid-table, not a ton to fight for. But if they got this win, I mean, with 8 matches left, you're not looking at too far out from Champions League places. You're then joint with Arsenal in 10th place. And you're saying, well, look, I mean, is it possible? Potentially, because then you'd only be 6 points off of Manchester United, who would be in 5th place. Who knows?
A win takes them above Burnley into the top half of the league. And more importantly, dents Liverpool's charge, right? It just puts them 1 game behind. As Klopp's team only need 2 wins to secure the title. Could come if they win tomorrow and then City lose on Monday.
It'd
Not
be
likely.
much like when I believe it was 2 years ago when Paul Pogba scored 2 goals to beat City at the Etihad to delay City's celebrations for 1 game. They said, you're not celebrating in front of us.
On our turf.
You're not celebrating in front of us. And maybe Everton decided to do the same. No risk of losing, letting Liverpool get the title at their ground, which would be, it'd be bad if you lived in the city of Liverpool and you were a fan of Everton, because you would be reminded of the fact that they won the title on your ground.
On your turf.
Exactly.
Ancelotti is doing some interesting things. Defensively, Everton are a disaster, and you don't want to be a disaster defensively against a side like Liverpool scoring bunches. But he's got just Mina and Delph are out, along with Theo Walcott. Andre Gomes returns. Liverpool, no real injury concerns heading into the match. But Ancelotti has done a lot of interesting things, but I think the biggest frailty that he's going to have to come to terms with is on the defensive side.
It was 5-2 in the reverse fixture, so it's going to be
coming off a 4-0 loss to Chelsea in the last game 3 months ago.
Yeah, so going to try and put that in the back of their minds and say fresh start now.
Speaking defensively,
for Liverpool though, Richarlison has had some pretty choice words. I think Van Dijk, the team talk right there. Jürgen Klopp just said to Van Dijk, Thiago Silva, Marquinhos, Sergio Ramos, they're all better than you. Go prove them wrong.
I don't think Van Dijk gives one rat's patoot about what Richarlison says.
He's going to want to prove
Van
it,
Dijk
on Sunday.
Finalist for the Ballon d'Or. Richarlison, just go play. I don't get it. This is not the
People edited his Wikipedia page to add an accolade because he said I've dribbled past him. So they said he had 1, I think, personal honor, 1 team honor, and then it was I've dribbled past Virgil van Dijk.
I like Richarlison. I
think
don't
he's
think
very
this
good.
made any kind of sense.
This is not, I think, the battle you want to pick against the heavyweights that Liverpool are. Maybe he'll prove us wrong, score a hat trick, and then we'll be sitting here on Monday saying, wow. Maybe he talked the talk and then he walked the walk.
Yeah.
Remains to be seen who ends up winning that battle, though.
Meanwhile, Naby Keita.
I think he's one of the players and one of the parts of the system of Liverpool that are going to be benefiting from this break. He got some time to get some fitness, maybe try and get a good last 9 games because he hasn't really shown his potential. In my eyes, I think if he lives up to his potential for an entire season, huge if, he's a top 5 midfielder in the Premier League. I think he is supremely talented, exactly what Jürgen Klopp wants in the midfield, but he hasn't shown it. And I think this is his ideal chance in these last 9 games to show it if Liverpool end up clinching the title. Some pretty low stakes but competitive matches for him to play in. I would like to see him start against Everton because he offers them a good dynamic going forward that they don't really have in the other midfielders. If you played the Fabinho, Henderson, Wijnaldum midfield trio, very, very solid. Holds down the middle of the park very well and allows Alexander-Arnold and Robertson to offer width, but doesn't create a lot from the center of the park. And Keita, on the other hand, is very, very good at
and
both.
You can still play with him with Fabinho behind him, sitting in front of the back four.
Yeah, I think that if Klopp can get him fit, get him a good last bit of the season, would be big for Liverpool. And this could be the first test potentially for him if they decide to start him tomorrow.
Interesting to see where that nets out in the midfield because they have so many options in that midfield. It's ridiculous, and they can play so many different ways. And that's one of the things that Klopp is really good at, is adapting that team.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, on the blue side of Liverpool, we have our friend Roger Bennett. Not really our friend. He doesn't know who we are, but
we would like for him to know who we are. Obviously, he's another very sad Everton fan. His son, not really knowing what a win feels like against Liverpool.
10 years old.
They would love to change that. Will they? Remains to be seen if they will be able to do that. I think it'd be a huge result for them. It could actually have some implications for them in terms of where they finish in the season because it'd be a huge morale boost.
Well, interesting things from PremierLeague.com that I didn't necessarily realize that 6 of the last 7 Merseyside derbies at Goodison Park have ended in draws. And now the Toffees are unbeaten in their last 7 top-flight home matches. Probably a lot of draws in there. I don't have that form in front of me. Interesting to see if they put Origi in or if he just comes on late and gives everyone PTSD from last year with the crazy Pickford bar.
Hitting the bar twice and then looping it to him for the header. Yeah. It's going to be tough for Everton. Neither of us see them being able to sneak it out, but I think it's the kind of match where it's a derby. Who knows what could happen? They could show up and have the match of the season. But Liverpool, I think they are obviously the favorites. They're obviously top of the league for a reason. And I think we will see them asserting their dominance and asserting their will.
Jürgen Klopp has been very vocal about wanting to come back and come back strong.
Yeah.
And I think he wants the points record. I think he wants to win everything, go to 109 points.
That would be incredible. 109 points. If they dropped 5 points in an entire season, I know people they didn't win as many trophies as the treble-winning United sides, and they didn't go unbeaten like the Invincibles of Arsenal did. If they would get 109 points, they're the best team in Premier League history.
I would think so.
Because your 2 matches that you haven't won are a very good match against Manchester United, and then I don't want to call it a fluke, but you had your off day against Watford, 3-0. If those are your only 2 matches where you failed to win, that's big if. First step for them is against Everton in the derby. And I think for either side, if they can get a win, could be huge for pushing them forward for the rest of the season. Because Liverpool still have things to play for, still have some players they want to put in, give some game time, and potentially try and go for that points record. 100 points, only 18 away with 9 matches and 27 points to play for. Who knows?
Entirely within the realm of possibility. Well, that'll do it. I've got it 3-1. Jack has it 2-0 both to Liverpool. Maybe Richarlison is able to get one by Van Dijk. Not sure that's going to happen.
He'll tear off his shirt and he'll run and celebrate with all the virtual fans they have in the stadium.
Piped in noise.
Yeah, no.
Well, that'll do it for us for the Merseyside Derby edition. Again, Jack Conrad, this has been the Footy Five. Please like, subscribe, find us on the Twitter at the Footy Five. Thank you all. Take care now.